one of the big carriers that's been selling a heck of a lot of Medicare supplement plans has decided to pull one of their premier plans out of the state of Texas altogether. They want to be able to maintain that book of business and not see major price increases, which is going to cause all the people that are already on the plan to find other coverage because that book is going up. What I do suspect is any of those carriers that are in the state of Texas that are offering their coverage during that 6-month window, they're going to get an influx of business, and that business is going to be very expensive to take care of, as demonstrated here by the Medicare numbers. I also wouldn't be surprised in the next coming years, this law having its effect on price increases in the state of Texas. Hey guys, Curt Graham here again from Elite Insurance Partners. I'm the VP of Brokerage, and these videos I like to put out every now and then if there's any news that comes out, regulations, changes that are coming to our industry. I've got another one today, and today what I want to talk about is what's happening in Texas. It's actually kind of got by me, didn't know it was coming down the pipe, and then now it's already been passed and it's going into effect in September. And what I'm talking about is the Texas House Bill 2516. It is going into effect on September 1st. I looked it up, and we've got, the law here. It's actually not very long, just not very reader friendly. Telos put out a great article on this. Always a great resource. Definitely should be looking at what they're putting out. They will, keep you up to date on rules, regulation changes. But if you're not looking at them, hey, come to my videos and I'll share with you my thoughts on them as well. So starting September 1st, what does this bill do? Basically, any entity that offers Medicare supplement plans to people over the age of 65 will have to offer the same coverage to people who are under the age of 65 and enrolled in Medicare for the reason of end-stage renal and amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or ALS. So ESRD, ALS, huge factors. I mean, a big one is limits you. You're never going to get underwritten if you have either one of those conditions. So what Texas has done is passed a law saying, hey, if you offer the standardized plans A, B, or D, you have to offer those plans to people at the exact same price. For people that are 65 or older, you have to offer them to people that are under 65 with either ALS or ESRD. So that's a big deal. Now, as we all know, those aren't the most popular plans out there. Typically, they're higher priced, not as many people enrolling in them. And so what Texas also did is they said, hey, also, you have to offer plans for any other plans besides A, B, or D, but you may not exceed 200% of the premium for people over the age of 65. So, I mean, that's pretty huge. So that's your plan G, your plan N. They can't exceed that price. And they said, hey, when you first turn 65 and you get your Medicare, you're going to be allowed to enroll in these plans, no questions asked, even if you have ALS or ESRD. So they've got that, but they've also added another one, which is between December 1st, 2025 and June 1st, 2026. Anybody that's already on Medicare with either of those conditions, you're going to be able to enroll in these plans. No questions asked. It's an open enrollment period. The carriers have to accept them at the higher rates. I did a little bit of math. I chatted with ChatGPT and Grok and asked a couple questions, tried to find some numbers on how many people this is. It's a little hard to pin down. I've seen numbers that range anywhere from 400,000 to 500,000 people that are on Medicare in Texas due to a disability. Unclear on how many of those people have ESRD or ALS, but I would imagine it's a pretty good portion of them because those are automatic qualifiers. If you have one of those conditions, you qualify for Medicare right away. So that's going to be a big factor of the number of people that are in these plans. Now, why is this so important? For the obvious reasons. It is extremely expensive to take care of somebody with ESRD or ALS. Once again, I went and I did a little bit of searching. I was able to find this report. Now, this is a 2022 report from NIH, and these are the numbers that Medicare spends on people with just ESRD a year. And if you look at it from 2010 all the way through 2022, we're ranging anywhere from $47 to $50 billion a year. Just to let you know, in that time frame, Medicare was around $600 billion of annual output. So we're talking about 10% of overall Medicare cost was going for just ESRD alone. So a huge portion of Medicare's expenditure. And what that means is how, that cost is going to now be passed on to these carriers that in the past, people weren't able to get these Medicare supplement policies with these health conditions if they didn't get it during their open enrollment period. So now all those people that missed that opportunity, that have these conditions, have the ability to jump on it. And you bet, if it was my family member, or if I was an advocate for somebody that had ALS or somebody that had ESRD, I am going to be right on top of it. I'm going to be doing everything I can to get that person enrolled in that plan. So what's this mean for the carriers in Texas? What's this mean for prices? We've seen spikes all across the country this past year in terms of Medicare supplement rate increases. I've seen, 20, 40% rate increases in some cases, and some carriers in different parts of the country with those rate increases. We're seeing more and more states implementing birthday rules that are just causing, the ability for people to change their plans no matter what health condition. It is causing those prices to go up. I would imagine this is probably going to affect the prices of Medicare supplement plans in Texas. I wouldn't be surprised to also see carriers potentially pulling plans. I have heard from one large carrier. I'm not going to mention the name. If you want to reach out to me privately, I'll tell you who's pulled out. But one of the big carriers that's been selling a heck of a lot of Medicare supplement plans has decided to pull one of their premier plans out of the state of Texas altogether. And so they are, taking proactive measures, because what they want to do is they want to be able to maintain that book of business and not see major price increases, spikes to their book of business, which is going to cause all the people that are already on the plan to end up having to find other coverage because that book is going up. So if they lock the book, don't let anybody else in the book, then that is going to have more stable rate increases. It is a more conservative carrier, great company. And I understand their thought process behind it. I wouldn't be surprised if we get announcements in the next couple weeks of other carriers pulling their plans out of the state of Texas. And I also wouldn't be surprised in the next coming years, in 2026, 2027, this law having its effect on price increases in the state of Texas. All of these things are things that we need to keep in mind as we're enrolling our members in these plans. And also just, it's a part of the education process. And it's a part of what we do as, Medicare experts. Okay. A lot of people are on Medicare. Most of them aren't experts. A lot of doctors provide coverage, and they deal with Medicare patients every day. They don't know the ins and outs of how Medicare works and what drives the cost like we do. So I think it's important, us as agents, as agency owners in the industry, we need to make our voices heard in these situations. Yes, I absolutely understand that we want to give people that are in a terrible situation with, some terrible diseases like ALS, like end-stage renal, but you do have to look at the overall impact of what's going to happen to the people that are on those plans. It is going to drive cost higher for the people that are already on those plans. I don't know if it's going to be a long-term lasting trend, but what I do suspect is any of those carriers that are in the state of Texas that are, offering their coverage during that 6-month window from December to June of 2026, they're going to get an influx of business that is open enrollment due to end-stage renal, due to, ALS. And that business is going to be very expensive to take care of, as demonstrated here by the Medicare numbers. This is only end-stage renal. It's not even ALS. And we're talking, almost 10% of the cost of Medicare. So just wanted to put that out there. Hope it's helpful. Hope everybody's having a great time. And hey, we're getting ready. AEP's around the corner, really starting to crank up, but wanted to put out this little bit of news that I found coming out of Texas.